Hello everybody and welcome back to Stellaris, where we're slightly upset at the Pictling Alliance here. It's just border core though, realistically. It's not that big of a deal. I do want to come over to these guys and close borders with them, just to make sure that they do not decide to pull the same crap. I also want to rename our Mindful Swarm here. I want to rename this to the First Contract Enforcement Fleet. Cool. So there we go. We'll get that renamed. And we're in Howling Vortex right now. We do need to grab, like, Amara and start heading... Well, we could head this way, but the borders are closed. We should grab Asana's first. And there are these mining drones over here. We'll see what ends up happening with that. Yeah, I think that's fine for the moment. This mining world requires a job. Well, obviously we're going to put in a mining district, right? So we'll put that in. No problem there. Nothing else really going on at this point, other than this nonsense over here. So, subterranean ocean modifier added. Okay, sure. Cool. When is our construction ship going to be back? Oof. That's a long time out.
A system has been surveyed.
Okay, that's going to be 2 years before that even shows up. Which tells me that it's going all the way back to Nightbirth. So... we're going to build a new one, and we're going to send it out this direction. That'll be faster. Continued exploration by the crew of Cash Probe has revealed the hot water coming from deep within the planet's crust is teeming with microscopic life. What we once thought of as an empty frozen planet actually contains a thriving underwater biosphere. Cool.
Special project actualized.
After analyzing the satellite we recovered above Gay 8, our technologists have found archaeologists. Where did I come up with technologists? Found an ingrained, highly stylized picture of what appears to be a Ute cruiser and a much smaller Jabardini scout in close formation during the first contact event. This has given us some notion of what their starships looked like. Cool. So that is excellent. We can upgrade these, and we might as well. While approaching Lingol 5, the Cash Reconnoiter suddenly received a glancing hit by several passing mass driver rounds. The projectiles were billions of years old, and based on their trajectory, they appear to be stray rounds fired from a neighboring galaxy. After missing their intended target, they continued on their journey for untold millennia, until today. The rounds we've recovered are of an advanced design, despite their incredible age. So, Howling Vortex is going to be done momentarily here. We are at 48 influence right now. Wait, closed borders complete. Consumes influence? I actually didn't know that. That must be new. I don't feel like that used to be the case. Well, we're going to head down to Asana's. They are currently surveying it, so I would like to grab that. This construction ship is done. We're going to move up over here.
A system has been surveyed.
And we'll see if we can manage to grab that. I'd be maybe a little surprised, but hopefully. Fingers crossed. So this construction ship is, of course, chilling. And we need basically no influence here, but there we go. We'll grab that. This is now ours. Sabik may or may not become ours. We can send resources over to deal with this, kind of. What is our actual fleet strength? 1310? Yeah, we can't deal with this at this time. So that's fine. We're picking up life signs coming from somewhere within the interior of this asteroid. This definitely warrants a closer investigation. And so we shall. Cool. Our governor has gained a trait. Or a level, maybe. But this starbase will be done shortly. And then we can start developing all of this out over here. There's a lot there. We can, like, target these Savannah worlds. Amazingly, while conducting their survey of BT-94, the crew of the Cash Reconnoiter picked up several life signs coming from within the asteroid. There appears to be a colony of large, burrowing, worm-like lithivores within the rock, which has been riddled with tunnels. These unique life forms have somehow adapted to a life in the coldness of space. They should be studied.
Upscaling complete.
Okay, so there is Asaniz under our control.
Research actualized.
We'll build a mining station here and then head up to Amara. Physics research from researchers finishing. Cool. Hyperdrive 2 is very good. That will help us get around faster. In the early game, getting around is the hard part. It's very slow to move. So grabbing the hyperdrive will be very helpful for that. We will certainly be very interested in that. But as we can see here, it reduces the hyperjump charge time. Sublight speed will also be very important, almost more important. That said, I want to go into our ship designer here and take a look at our corvettes here. We are running ion thrusters. Okay.
Future
Just wanted to double check that.
Complete.
The rest of this is all looking good. I mean, we could run a reactor booster in here. It's auto-designed? Don't auto-design. Okay. We could definitely run a reactor booster here. Drop the small deflectors. Deflectors are kind of pointless. Just run armor. Deflectors are only pointless on corvettes, to be clear. Evasion is how you defend a corvette. Armor does not reduce evasion, whereas shields do. So we bring up our evasion a little bit here with the reactor booster and the nanocomposite armor, and we can get these upgrading. Cool. So that'll be fine. That won't take very long to get them upgraded. So we can't go down this direction, sadly. We don't get Trappist, but... Convasam warriors sighted. For several months now, we've received scattered reports of small numbers of alien mercenaries and privateers operating on the frontiers of our space. They call themselves the Convasami and are apparently exiles from a nomadic warrior culture inhabiting overcrowded space stations in and around the maw of the Truthsayer system. Their passage near our space proceeded without incident, but they warned us against trespassing in maw of the Truthsayer. There is no Convasam central government to speak of, but their various factions are engaged in constant infighting and often launch raids against neighboring star systems. Indeed, given their vast population and space-based production capability, the Convasami would likely be a significant galactic power, if they ever stopped killing each other. We'll attempt to contact them. They refer to us as Dwamaks. Wonderful. And our construction ship is currently chilling in Amara. How far are we away from getting to Ravgeti here? We're not all that far. I think this should be our next location that we grab, Ravgeti and Eludra.
Colonial Enterprise upsizing.
How did they get their construction ship out of here? Did they disband it? Maybe they disbanded it.
Market outlier identified.
That would be interesting. During a survey of LR9 Singularity, the Cache Probe discovered a previously unknown strategic resource dubbed dark matter. Cool, so we found some dark matter, and we'll look into whatever this anomaly is. Unusual readings. Okay, sure. That'll be fine. So we're going to arrive over here in 200 days still to get this far. That's a lot. The readings originate from a small metal pod. Science Officer Rugged Tissue has determined it to be a lifeboat of ancient and alien make. Evidently caught on the outskirts of the black hole's gravity well eons ago, at an angle just short of a slingshot maneuver, whether that was the intent or happenstance is difficult to judge, and the pod's automated thrusters have been fighting its descent to the event horizon ever since. It's now too close to the horizon to salvage. Rugged Tissue's report ends abruptly, and the crew of the Cache Probe communicate that the science officer appears shaken and deeply troubled by the tragic fate of the lifeboat. Of ancient and alien make, huh? But its thrusters have been running this entire time? I wonder what propellant they use. Well, Rugged Tissue is now paranoid. We gained some physics research.
Has been
That's
surveyed.
Fine. And we are going to be arriving in Ravgeti here fairly soon. Eventually, anyway. We'll get this starbase queued up so that the resources are taken anyway. And if they no longer have a construction ship here, that actually means that they can't get here. So that's interesting. Oh, this went to Everum? Okay. We found another abandoned gateway, this time near Viscaran's maw. It appears to have been built entirely by microscopic nanites of an unknown design. Unlike the previous structure, this gateway has been significantly altered since its initial construction. Its connection to the rest of the network has been severed. Instead, the only valid destination is an uncharted group of stars just beyond our galaxy that has been designated the L Cluster by our astronomers. Although the gateway emits a faint power signature, it's been deliberately locked into some kind of maintenance loop that prevents its activation. Until we find some way of aborting this process, the L Cluster will remain beyond our reach.
Situation log revised.
Cool. That seems reasonably fine. We're
Potential
still surveying
market
a
survey
lot of
completed.
stuff out here. A natural wormhole, huh? In the Vernier system. Okay, cool. If it could only be stabilized. So. We're kind of lucky that there's no connection here, to be honest. Oh, that's interesting. Look at all those stars. I've never seen one with that many stars on it. That must be new in this new version, because that's only a 300, almost 400k fleet. I mean, it's a
Potential
powerful
market
fleet, don't get
survey
me wrong,
completed.
but I've seen more powerful, and they usually only had 2 stars. Cool. During its survey of FAMNU 1, the cache examined discovered several exotic gases previously unknown to us. These gases have a variety of different uses, particularly in the operation of advanced energy-based weaponry and force fields. Some of the gases can also be used as starship fuel, or even as recreational drugs. Okay, so we found some exotic gases. Fantastic. And a bunch of archaeological sites. We will definitely look into those
Outlier
archaeological sites, but
identified.
now is not the time for that. Canyons deep enough to be seen from orbit furrow the surface of Vernier 4, yet the planet is as dry as a dust bowl. What could have happened to the water that once so profoundly carved Vernier 4's stone? We'll look into that. Cool. So this will be grabbed soon enough. Do we need a 3rd construction ship? No, is the answer. We lack the influence to be able to deal with that. Following a thorough investigation of Vernier 4, the Cache Inquirer crew has confirmed that the planet used to be covered in flowing water several billion years ago. However, the geochemical composition of the planet's basalt crust proved highly hydrophilic, so much so that Vernier 4's thirsty rocks eventually absorbed and bound all of the water on its surface. Now, all that remains of these vast oceans are salty brine streaks, lining Vernier 4's numerous canyons. Science Officer Floats Backwards added that the mineral hydrates now dominating Vernier 4's landscape could have many valuable industrial applications. I'm sure they could. A terraforming candidate on Vernier 2. Okay. That'll be neat. Void clouds are up in temporal decay. We can't really do anything about that just yet. A toxic terraforming candidate as well.
Outlier identified.
Vernier pulses steadily, its helioseismology indicating an internal composition far denser than expected. What could be responsible for this surprising density? There's a lot of stuff
Upscaling
going on in the
complete.
Vernier system. Okay. Interesting.
A
So,
system has
we of
been
course
surveyed.
need to build our mining and research stations in Rovgeti, and we can potentially think about having Fact and Bosonic being payment for services rendered to the Pictling Alliance. Now, they don't necessarily know that they're going to have these services rendered to them, but that's the way our legal system works. We have one-party consent to contractual obligations. It works very well if you're the party writing the contracts, which we are, so that's great. While on the surface, Vernier appears to be an ordinary white dwarf, the star hides an intriguing secret. By studying Vernier's pulsations, the Cache Inquirer crew has discovered its composition to be almost entirely crystallized carbon. This astronomical crystal lattice seems to have been formed as the star cooled, originating in its gas-fusing core and growing outward over time. Vernier is a diamond of cosmological proportions, glinting behind a white veil of oxygen and helium. Fascinating.
Outlier
So eventually we're
identified.
going to grab over here, but scanners are indicating the sandy dunes of Escarin B4A are almost entirely composed of granulate rare metals. Perhaps some valuable resources could be extracted from them. Perhaps indeed. We're getting close to having all of this surveyed, aren't we? We are indeed. Interesting. The Cache Probe crew is excited to report an unanticipated find on the surface of Escarin B4A. Not only are the plentiful sand dunes on the planet composed of rare metal granulate, the sand itself is almost entirely composed of countless broken nanites. These microscopic machines are millions of years old, their structure degraded far beyond any chance for reactivation. While we cannot determine a source of origin for these nanomachines, the society that created them must have been highly technologically advanced. Science Officer Cash Crobe postulates that the nanites may have been used to terraform the surface of Escarin B4A millions of years ago. Cool. So we got some nanites out of that and an L-gate insight. That's always good to have. So we're happy to get an L-gate insight for sure. How's our tech doing? An encounter in Okram, the Iota aliens. Okay, that is actually very, very important. We will send a loud caller to deal with that. We need all the influence we can get, of course. As soon as we're done over here, we'll head into Aludra. But for right now, Aludra's not connected to the Pictling systems over here, and the border is closed. So we'll just grab Amara over here. And we'll just
Market
start filling in some of
outlier
these gaps.
identified.
Sensors pick up rhythmic movement on the hellish surface of Scarin 2. We'll definitely look into that one. But how are we doing on our tech? Okay, we're making some progress here. We don't have a tech world, and we really probably should grab Tiamat over here. Tiamat 2. I do think that's going to be important. Yeah, that's going to happen, I think, after we grab Eludra. Yeah, after we grab Eludra. The measured pounding observed from orbit is the motion of immense and ancient geothermal extractors breathing their last. Built and then abandoned at some point in the distant past, the vast batteries of disintegrating machinery have been pumping up superheated fluids from the planet's core ever since. Their storage capacitors are all broken or leaking, but some energy can still be siphoned from them. Excellent.
Future market survey complete.
So the Vernier system is now fully surveyed. There's a lot more surveying to happen up here still, but
Upscaling complete.
we actually can't get down here right now
Research
due to the
actualized.
space amoeba here. It's going to take us a long time to get there. We should start heading right now. Is there anybody here who has sublight speed increase? Actually, 20% sublight speed. We hired this man. Beautiful. So now it's 657. That shaved off like 100 days. I love it. We also finished up our engineering research. We are 2 years away from finishing up our hyperdrive upgrades, so I don't think we go for that immediately. Do we go for destroyers? Under most circumstances, this would be a no-brainer. But we're a megacorp. We're going to go for rare crystal mining. Cool. We'll see how that ends up going for us. Probably poorly, but that'll be fine.
Potential market
Checking in
survey
up here, we need to do
completed.
some work on our planets, so that'll be something we'll do in a moment. We found a heavily damaged bipedal robot floating in space. We do not understand its energy source, but we may be able to retrieve information from its memory. Well, we'll look into that. On our capital here, I think that we put in an agriculture district since we are negative on food. And this is basically full at this point. For now, anyway. On this factory world, we have a gene clinic, civilian industry, corporate culture site. We do not yet have a posthumous employment center. We can also build moat harvesting traps here. For now, we'll put in the employment center. Here on this mining world, we are simply lacking a job. We'll put in a mining district. Everin Prime, what do we want this to be? Probably a science world. That's what I'm leaning towards anyway. Okay, so our first contact event is pending here. I clicked like 3 times to pause this, but okay. The vessels detected in the Akram system seems to be part of some sort of expedition across the galaxy with purposes unknown. They have not made any hostile moves, nor is there any heavy weaponry evidence. Instead, they seem to be broadcasting repetitive, but not particularly content-filled signals in our general direction. Our envoy Loudcaller is confused, but hopes that the broadcast will help our linguists translate their language. Okay, so they're the Caravanserai Caravan Coalition. Cool. We'll work on that. We found a bipedal robot floating in space. Its faceplate is featureless, and its metal exterior is damaged. Preliminary scans indicate that it has residual power, but its power source is radically different from our own. Its internal circuitry may hold memories of its previous existence, but recharging it and translating its information will take time. So we can scan it and add 3 minerals. Okay, sure. We also have a prosperity tradition that we can grab. Building and district upkeep, or build cost and build speed of buildings and districts. Okay. Specialist pop resource output would be good. Upkeep from jobs would also be good. City districts providing housing would be nice, but we're not really running into a housing issue at this moment. So I think we grab administrative operations, and then we head down into pursuit of profit and interstellar franchising, is the idea here. Through diligent effort, we've found a way to recharge the robot's power supply and scan its memory banks. Sadly, the machine has deteriorated so badly that we cannot retrieve coherent information. We'll consider a follow-up study, and we may search for others of its kind, but the fate of this mechanical castaway must remain a mystery. Okay, so we'll build our mining and research stations in Amara. Highly atypical atmospheric patterns in a gas giant. Okay, we will definitely look into that. But yeah, we need to clear out the spaceborne amoebas over here. That will definitely take a while to get there. No doubt about that. What we had assumed was an abnormally small gas giant is, in fact, not. Beneath a deceptive cover of thick dust swirling in the upper atmosphere lies a regular planet. A barren planet, but a planet nonetheless. This has proven quite embarrassing to the astronomical community on Entropy's Promise. Okay, well, I'm sure that they are very embarrassed by that. So there's an ocean world over here, huh? We found Zero. That's nice. Relic world up here. Okay, I know what this is. Getting access to the rubricator is going to be very useful, actually. So that'll be good. Howling Vortex is definitely a location where we want to upgrade a starport. No doubt about that.
Market survey complete.
So we'll get that going. That is a high priority. And there's no valid auto-migration destination here.
Colonial
but we do have a
enterprise
worker unemployment on our capital. What do we want to do about that? This is basically full for the moment. I don't think there are any decisions that we can do to do anything there. We could resettle them over to another location. Like, for example, Everin Prime. Done. They're unemployed there, but we're going to build a city district. We are going to build a gene clinic. We'll build a corporate culture site once we can. So Everin Prime will be worked on.
Research actualized.
Excellent. Society research from researchers finishing up. We will next get this tile blocker clearance, I think. We really need to work on our science. There's no doubt about that. Our construction ship in Amara is complete. Now we can definitely grab anything we want here. There's that automated shipyard up over this way, Mutagen Merchant Guild, and an archaeological site. We aren't in a hurry to grab this stuff, right? We can just kind of grab in whatever order we feel like. No one is competing with us for any of this up here. We've managed to successfully grab everything that we wanted over here, and that's wonderful. I'm very, very happy about our current position, but we need time to develop all of this. It'll take quite a long time, in fact. We're currently negative in our consumer goods. Our mining world here needs another job, and we'll put in a mining district. We're definitely growing pretty quickly there. And we'll grab a Ludra fairly soon, but, yeah, go ahead and research this. Unusually deliberate geometric configuration of minerals. Okay. We're lacking 22 influence here, but we found the Caravaneers. 45 influence. Fantastic. Hello, Caravaneers. Next time, maybe. And that gives us the influence that we need to grab a Ludra. Beautiful. So once we have a Ludra, then we're going to start heading up to Tiamat. I definitely want to start grabbing some of these Savannah worlds. That is very high priority. There's also this arid world up here, but there's the enigmatic fortress. We can't deal with that right now. In gentle orbit around the massive IU-11951 floats a portable databank. Scooped up by the Cache Inquirer, it's found to contain text in some alien language. The vocabulary is not wholly unfamiliar, but the syntax is disconcertingly complex. Science Officer floats backwards, recommends a more thorough study to decipher the text's contents and origins. We'll analyze it on Entropy's Promise.
Situation log revised.
So, we can definitely do this cloud study and the prints. That'll all be fine. Cool. So the Cache Compose is going to grab mining stations here. I do want to...
Upscaling
I want to just finish up everything up here. We'll research the projects in the system in WUA as soon as we can. That'll be fine.
Upscaling complete.
Following his recent sensor sweep of the Ordedia system, Admiral Provides Polymers has learned how to deploy his units to maximize their sensor range. Few fleet commanders possess the skill to carry out such complex maneuvers. We have an admiral? We have an admiral. Right, because we hired him for the gale speed. I completely forgot about that. Now, he has arrived up here and is about to fight these spaceborne organics here, these amoebas. We're going to take some hits here.
The system has been
Do we
surveyed.
lose anyone, though? It's looking good. At first glance, this moon does not seem capable of supporting living beings, but nevertheless, we've detected life signs emanating from somewhere beneath its frozen surface. Look into that. And it looks like... Okay, we did end up losing a single Corvette. Okay. So we're going to head back to Nightbirth. That'll take another 633 days. I want to research our project here first, and then we will return to automatic survey. Cool. So that opens up this entire area for us. I love it. Large ocean heated by hydrothermal vents. Okay, so we can mount a deep sea expedition, and where is that? Oh, these guys claimed our system. Rude, but not surprising. Go ahead and mount this deep sea expedition. There we go. And with that, it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to continue to expand into all of this territory. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, James, Shadowwolf, Emlohan80, Rogue Corvid, Kentogan, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Anna the Elephant, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.